Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I'm having fun with the November card kit by SSS Stamp. Just like always, I'm going to show you what's included and then I'm going to go ahead and share some inspiration. So first of all, you will get this pad along with a piercing tool. Well, one side is for piercing, the other one is for picking little pieces. And you can use the craft mat to do the piercing on top. So this is nice and squeezy and it looks like a mouse pad. Then you will find a little square embossing folder, and this one not only embosses but it also die cuts as well. And you get a lovely tree scene embossed on your paper. You will also get a big embossing folder, one of those 3D ones, very generic design with lots of leaves that can be used throughout the year. Now there is a die set also included in the kit, and you will get those 3 different sizes of tags, and I will be using those in one of my cards today. Now before we move on with the pattern papers, let's take a look at the stamp set. Now the stamp set screams fall. You see lots of leaves and these are layered stamps, so you can stamp the veins on top. There is also a stencil, and this is a set. Actually there are 2 stencils inside, so you can layer them one on top of the other. And you can definitely have lots of fun with this set of stencils using different color combos for fall. Now in terms of pattern papers, you get this American Craft set, and they are 4 by 6. They are one-sided, so you don't have to fight with which side you want to use. You will find that they are specialty papers. In some of them you will get golden accents. And they come in those lovely designs and fall color combinations. You know I love pattern paper, so in my cards today I will be using many of those papers. And finally you get cardstock in 3 colors. So I'm starting with my first card and I want to use this beautiful pattern paper. I need to cut it to size, so this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, which is going to give me a little border so that you can see the lovely cardstock there. That cardstock was included in the kit. Now I want to use the incredibly grateful sentiment from this stamp set, but of course my pattern paper is super busy. When you are working with very busy backgrounds, a good way to go for sentiments is to just stamp them on top of vellum. So I'm going to do a little bit of embossing here. I'm prepping my vellum with my pouch just to make sure that I don't have any static electricity, and then I'm going to place my sentiment on top and stamp it with my embossing ink. I am going to apply anti-gold embossing powder, and this is from my collection called Christmas Plus with Stamperia. I am going to use a little brush to make sure that everything is nice and neat, and then I'm going to use my heat gun. So let's go ahead and put the card together. On the edges of the vellum I'm adding a little bit of glue with my tape runner, and I'm going to wrap it around my pattern paper. Now I'm making sure that my sentiment is slightly offset, which gives me a big area at the front where I can stick a focal point. Now you can see how beautiful that vellum helps the sentiment to stand out, and it doesn't really disturb the beauty of the pattern paper. I'm gonna stick this panel on my card base. I do have foam tape at the back because you know I love dimension. And then I want to stick something at the front. This can be one of the leaves that you can stamp and cut out. You can even stamp your leaves on top of pattern paper and cut it out so that you can use some of those colors, for example the solid ones like these ones. Or you can go like me and just cut out one focal point from the pattern paper. So here I just cut out the house, which I am going to use as the focal point on the empty space there, and I'm going to embellish it with a couple of leaves. By the way, for the leaves I just used one of the dies that I have in my stash, and I cut them out both from the pattern paper that was included in the kit. That's why the colors match perfectly with the background. I do have a foam square at the back of my house and I'm going to place that there. I'm using my copper contour liner. This is old gold actually, and I'm adding a few drops here and there. These are going to give a more whimsical look and a touch of shine on the project. And you can see here some close-up photos on the first card for today. And you can see here better some of the details. Now for the next card again I'm going to combine pattern papers, and I'm going with that orange one to cut out the tag. This is the middle tag from the set of 3, by the way. And I'm also using one of those layering stamps of leaves from the stamp set. I did use burgundy first for the base of the leaf, and then on top I'm using coffee ink for the veins and the stem. Now I'm going to use my scissors to fuzzy cut around that, leaving a little white border, but I'm sure there are matching dies for this stamp set if you want to grab those as well. So you can see the beauty of this pattern paper with all those golden details. I do have foam tape at the back and I'm placing that on top of my card base. Now for the tag, I do have foam tape again at the back. I am going to thread some string, and you can definitely use an eyelet here if you want to add a metal touch on your tag. I'm going to place the leaf that I have fuzzy cut before, and then I stamped a little sentiment. Again, this sentiment is from the stamp set. I'm going to place it on top, and my card is pretty much ready. All I'm going to do is to add some details with my contour liner. And of course for this card I chose to go with a golden color just because I do have all those golden details on the background paper too. And for your leaf as a focal point, you can go with any color that you find at the background. It's going to match beautifully with the rest of the design. Now for this video I was planning to share just one card, but I couldn't stop. You know me, sometimes I go all the way to 10 cards. Anyway, for today I'm going for 3 cards, and for this one I wanted to get one of those very clean and simple designs. So I'm going with that grey toned pattern paper, which I'm going to stick on top of my card base. Again, using foam tape at the back as always. And then I'm going with this pattern paper, and I have those stripped tags. I'm going to cut those out and stamp on each and every one of them a different sentiment. I decided to go with different fonts, larger, smaller, even typed or handwritten, so that gives a more interesting look on my finished tag. And when I will combine them all together, it's going to say, "Sending love just because." So I'm going to grab my scissors and cut out those 3 tags, and if you notice I went with one yellow, one light grey and one black, and I also used my crazy fuzzy cutting skills to cut out those 2 branches. I'm also going to use my CROP-A-DILE and add an actual hole on the end of all those stripped tags. This is going to give me the opportunity to use some thread through that and introduce a different texture on my card. You can definitely use eyelets if you like at this stage. And then finally it's time to put everything together. I do have those lines on the background pattern paper that help me align everything nice and straight. I am going to add everything down so that it reads "Sending hugs just because," and I'm going to embellish that by adding those leaves that I have fuzzy cut. Oh, and of course I do have those holes at the end of my tags, so I'm going to thread some string and tie a knot there just to add that extra something. And just like I did with the previous cards, I'm going to add the finishing touches by using my contour liner. This time I'm using the white color to add some dots around the leaves. And these were the cards for today. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. Just like always, there is a list of all the supplies that I used for this project down below in the description area. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you'll all have a lovely day.